Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reacting to another video. You know from the title what it's going to be. I think we're just going to go ahead and react to the top one that I have here. How Canada is becoming next Pakistan by Abhi and Niyu. Or Niyu. I'm so bad with names. Listen, unless I'm talking to you like person to person, I'm always going to mess up your name. I apologize. Um, Either way, yeah, this is my to react to list. We're up to 255 videos right now, and yeah, it's rather deep. There's a lot of stuff in here that I'd like to get to and to react to. What was this? Oh, fundraiser. Okay. Um, yeah, I want to try to get to as many of these as possible. It's gonna take a while. I'll be honest with you. 255 videos is a lot of videos. I'm sure some of these are already like outdated. I'm sure I've also reacted to a few of these as well. I'm not certain. I'm pretty sure that I've taken every video that I've reacted to out of the list, but again, who knows? So yeah, 255 videos. I don't know how I'm gonna get through this at my current rate. My current pace is like one video every day or two. So I think I'm gonna have to increase the output of reaction videos. Maybe I'll do like 2 or 3 videos a day. So yeah, let's watch the first one here. Burn Hindu temples. How Canada is becoming the next Pakistan. I have heard that there's a lot of issues going on right now in Canada, and it's not even just like issues between like India and Pakistan. There's also other issues like the pro-Palestinian, the anti-Israeli issues going on, and then there's a bunch of people that are angry about all the immigration, and there's a lot of like fake immigration. It is a boiling point. It's a boiling pot that is reaching a boiling point or something like that. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Anyways, let's just watch the video. Let's just watch the video. Wow, look at this. Abhi and Niyu is the fastest growing Indian education YouTube channel. Abhi and Niyu are a husband and wife couple who believe in the power of our youth. Abhi and Niyu started their page to talk about positive, impactful ideas and to inspire offline action from online content. Interesting. Okay. Of course, we will need the subtitles, which is perfectly fine. I like reading subtitles. Let's start the video.
कनाडा का हाल पाकिस्तान से भी बदतर
So, preferably something in English, please.
कनाडा का हाल कनाडा का हाल पाकिस्तान से भी बदतर होने वाला है, जिसका प्रूफ आपको इस वीडियो में मिल जाएगा। क्योंकि ये वीडियो देखिए, ये गाजा नहीं, ये लेबनान नहीं, अफगानिस्तान नहीं, ये टोरंटो है। आज कनाडा के झंडे कनाडा में ही
Burning the Canadian flag. Wow.
जलाने
Interesting.
से किसी को भी डर नहीं लगता।
Please. Thank you.
ट्रूडो खुद का कनाडा पर कोई कंट्रोल रहा ही नहीं है। इसीलिए ब्राजील में हुए G20 के समय उनसे बात करने के लिए कोई भी मीडिया रिपोर्टर गया ही नहीं। उन्हें तो
Nobody wants to talk
G20
to
के
him in the
फैमिली
G20. What is it? Justin Trudeau, Georgia, Melanie, and Joe Biden missing from G20 family photo. Here's what happened. I did hear about this. It's really interesting, man. It really is.
फोटो में भी नहीं लिया गया था।
Like it feels like God, I don't know. A lot of these political powers that were in power within the past 4 years are just kind of like crumbling and falling, right?
फिर बाद में उनके रोने पर फिर से फोटो खिंचाई गई। कनाडा का नाम जल्द ही बदलकर खालिस्तान होने वाला है।
Callous. Wow. Okay.
ऐसा हम नहीं, कनाडा में बसे खालिस्तानी सपोर्टर्स कहते हैं। कुछ दिनों पहले कनाडा के ब्रिटिश
Khalistan march around Surrey, British Columbia, and claim we are the owners of Canada and white people should go back to Europe and Israel. How are we allowing these retards to shape our foreign policy? Listen, Daniel Boardman, why are you censoring the word retard? Come on.
कोलंबिया में सरे एरिया में कुछ खालिस्तानियों ने नारे लगाना
That's
स्टार्ट किया कि
crazy though.
व्हाइट कनेडियंस इन्वेडर्स हैं और असली कनेडियंस वो खुद हैं। वो खुद कनाडा
That's
को
really
ओन करते हैं।
wild.
व्हाइट पीपल शुड गो बैक टू यूरोप एंड इजराइल। कनाडा जिसे इमिग्रेंट्स का देश कहते हैं, जो अपने लिबरल एटीट्यूड और वेलकमिंग नेचर के लिए जाना जाता है, एक्चुअली जाना जाता है नहीं, जाना जाता था, क्योंकि आज कनाडा का लैंडस्केप हॉस्टाइल बनता जा रहा है।
Wow.
कनाडा का हाल
Now, see,
ऐसे
I've not really paid attention to Canadian news. Like, I know, like, the situation that's going down there, right, with the Palestine movement and, like, the whole anti-India movement that's going on, even with Justin Trudeau, who seems like incredibly anti-Indian. Like I've been following that, but I don't know. I don't like follow Canada news on a day-to-day basis. So I like when he's showing these images of like people burning these different flags and one of them was stabbing it with a sword.
कनाडा का हाल
Where was
आज
that at?
कनाडा का लैंडस्केप हॉस्टाइल बनता जा रहा है।
Man stabbing the Indian flag with a sword, like that's wild. That's crazy, right? That's wild. Wow. Okay. Yeah. See, like on these day-to-day things, I don't pay too much attention to. So, I guess it comes down to, news videos like this for me to get that information. I'm on like Twitter or X, excuse me, and I see a lot of Indian hate, like a lot of racism towards India and Indian people. And man, it is so disheartening seeing how openly racist people are towards Indians. I don't understand it. I really don't. Like I come from a very like multi-ethnic background personally. Like I'm half Mexican, I'm half white. My brother and sister are half black because my mom, married a black man. So it's like I don't know. I I grew up where like thinking racism isn't wasn't really an issue because we're like my family is very multi ethnic, right? But then you get into the real world. You grow up, you get into the real world, and you see, hey, everyone hates Indians for whatever reason, man. It sucks. It really sucks. Anyways, we'll get back to the video. Sorry for me derailing it a bit there.
कनाडा का हाल ऐसे हुआ कैसे? Why is Canada home to खालिस्तानीज? हमने भारत का ये डिफेंस पेपर एनालाइज किया और इसमें 3 मेन रीजन सामने आए। क्या है ये रीजंस? चलिए समझते हैं आज के इस वीडियो में।
They're home to so many Calistanis because there is a very rampant illegal smuggling, human trafficking into Canada that's not talked about enough. There are so many falsified like visas and like student visas and things of that nature. It's crazy. Canada in crisis.
19 जून 2024 को कनाडा के पार्लियामेंट में कुछ ऐसा हुआ जिसने कनाडा के बदलते हुए पॉलिटिक्स पर मोहर लगा दी। ये वीडियो देखिए। यहाँ पूरी कनेडियन पार्लियामेंट हरदीप सिंह निज्जर की डेथ एनिवर्सरी पर शोक मना रही है। हरदीप सिंह निज्जर एक खालिस्तानी सिंपैथाइजर जो
I like how he had to blur out the gun, probably to get past YouTube censors.
गन्स के साथ पोज करता था, जिसे कनाडा ने खुद नो फ्लाई लिस्ट पर डाला था और तो और उसके बैंक अकाउंट्स भी फ्रीज कर दिए गए थे। यूजुअली पार्लियामेंट में ऐसा ट्रिब्यूट उन लोगों के लिए दिया जाता है जो नेशनल इंपॉर्टेंस के हों और यहाँ एक टेररिस्ट की मौत को एक ट्रेजेडी की तरह दिखाया जा रहा है। ये कनाडा के आम लोगों को क्या मैसेज देता है? दैट कनाडा सपोर्ट्स खालिस्तान।
That's a wild photo. I forgot this photo exists. That's a wild photo.
इसी के दम पर कुछ ही दिनों बाद कनाडा की इंडियन कम्युनिटी पर अटैक शुरू हुए। 22 जुलाई 2024 को एडमंटन के स्वामी नारायण मंदिर को
Hindu temple in Canada defaced with anti-India graffiti. The BAPS God, I cannot read. Okay, the BAP Swaminarayan Mandir in Edmonton has once again fallen victim to an attack on Hindu places of worship across Canada. Chandra Arya, a member of the Parliament of Nepean, expressed concern over the rising incidents of hate-fueled violence aimed at Hindu Canadian communities. What is this? Vandalize again. During the last few years, Hindu temples in the greater Toronto area, British Columbia, and other places in Canada are being vandalized.
को वैंडलाइज किया गया. Sounds familiar to what happened right now. 4 नवंबर को ब्रैम्पटन कनाडा में
Strongly condemn attacks on Hindu temples in Canada. Prime Minister Modi. A pro-Khalistan protest at the Hindu Savya temple near Toronto had escalated into violence. PM also calls alleged acts of surveillance targeting Indian diplomats in Canada as cowardly. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday strongly condemned violence against the Hindu temple. Never weaken India's resolve. Such actions will never weaken India's resolve.
खालिस्तानी सेपरेटिस्ट मॉब ने हिंदू टेंपल पर अटैक किया. और वियर्ड बात क्या है पता? जिन सेपरेटिस्ट ने मंदिर पर अटैक किया उन्हें एप्रीहेंड करने की बजाय टेंपल डिवोटीज को ही अरेस्ट कर दिया गया था. उन प्रो खालिस्तानी सेपरेटिस्ट में खुद लोकल पील पुलिस का एक ऑफिसर भी शामिल
A police officer.
But by now, आपको Canadian police का
Was he wearing? Yeah, he's wearing a. Is that a Raiders football jersey?
Officer भी शामिल था.
It is.
But by now, आपको खुद.
So wait.
डिवोटीज को ही अरेस्ट कर दिया गया था. उन प्रो खालिस्तानी सेपरेटिस्ट में खुद लोकल पील पुलिस का एक ऑफिसर भी.
Okay, at first I thought like, okay, this man's like wearing a patch or something, but that's just the Raider emblem. Okay.
शामिल था. But by now आपको Canadian पुलिस का रिकॉर्ड तो पता ही होगा. तो उसे क्लीन चिट दे दी गई.
Hey, whoa, you that went by way too quick. Canadian part of Khalistan mob that attacked temple gets clean chit. What the heck does chit mean? Clean chit? Canadian police officer Haranda Sohi, who was part of the pro-Khalistan rally, has been given a clean chit by Peel Police. What is chit? I've never heard of the term chit before. Gosh dang Canadians, man. People from mob attacked devotees at the Hindu Sabha temple in Brampton. In several videos, Sohi is seen in plain clothes and with a Khalistan flag. But Peel Police said he was trying to disarm protesters. Yeah, right.
दे दी गई. This is really problematic. कनाडा इंडिया के कंसर्न्स को इग्नोर करता है ही, साथ ही साथ कनाडा में रहने वाले इंडियन ओरिजिन लोगों की सेफ्टी को भी इग्नोर करता है. As if those people just don't matter to them. Of course, unless they are खालिस्तानीज. कनाडा के पॉलिटिक्स को समझे तो कनाडा में 3 मेजर पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज हैं. लिबरल पार्टी, कंजर्वेटिव पार्टी और न्यू डेमोक्रेटिक पार्टी. इन तीनों पार्टीज ने टाइम एंड टाइम अगेन भारत को धोखा दिया है और खालिस्तान को सपोर्ट किया है. बट व्हाट इज द लॉजिक? चलिए रिवाइंड करते हैं. एक जमाना था जब कनाडा और भारत के रिलेशंस काफी अच्छे हुआ करते थे. बात है 1954 की, जब भाभा एटॉमिक रिसर्च सेंटर के लिए कनाडा ने सीरियस यानी कनाडा इंडिया रिएक्टर यूटिलिटी सर्विसेज नाम का एक रिएक्टर दिया था. यूएस, कनाडा और भारत के बीच अग्रीमेंट ऐसी थी कि इस रिएक्टर का इस्तेमाल पीसफुल पर्पसेस के लिए ही होगा, यानी इस रिएक्टर से वेपन्स ग्रेड यूरेनियम नहीं बनेगा. लेकिन 1974 में जब भारत ने पहला न्यूक्लियर टेस्ट किया तो कनाडा शॉक हो गया, क्योंकि कनाडा मानता है कि भारत ने अग्रीमेंट तोड़ा है और भारत कहता है कि हमने कुछ भी गलत नहीं किया, क्योंकि हमारा न्यूक्लियर टेस्ट एक पीसफुल न्यूक्लियर टेस्ट था जिसका नाम भी था स्माइलिंग बुद्धा. इस मोमेंट से
the test I don't see anything wrong with the nuclear test. I mean, why are other countries allowed to do nuclear tests? And there's so many like regulations and stipulations set on India. It seemed crazy.
कनाडा और भारत के बीच एक कोल्ड वॉर शुरू हो गई. द वॉर ऑफ नैरेटिव्स.
Canada's deteriorating relationship with India.
Canada has expelled 6 top Indian diplomats.
India and Canada have expelled each other's top envoys.
Given the implications of India's actions on the safety of our diplomats, we have facilitated their safe departure from India.
Well, there was definitely a threat.
The team has learned a significant amount of information about the breadth and depth of criminal activity orchestrated by agents of the government of India.
and diplomats from India were linked to these criminal actions.
This is wild. This is crazy because it came out later. Like they were blaming all these criminal actions. Like there was a death of that one guy. I forget his name. It doesn't ring any bells. But they all these like high top end like Canadian officials and news media were blaming India on the death. But later on it turned out it was like a gang war violence that happened between different these different like the Palestinian people. And yet they kept up the narrative, and they kept the narrative that like India sent a hitman to kill the guy. It's crazy.
It is obvious that the government of India made a fundamental error.
आज भी हम यही देखते हैं कि कनाडा नैरेटिव अपने साइड शिफ्ट करना चाहता है। जस्टिन ट्रूडो के साथी ने साफ कहा है कि उन्होंने
Canadian officials admit to leaking details of Najjar case to Washington Post. Leaking the sensitive information was part of the communication strategy that Canada official came up with to ensure that a major U.S. publication got Canada's side of the dispute with India.
वॉशिंगटन पोस्ट को कुछ डिटेल्स लीक किए थे एज अ पार्ट ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन स्ट्रेटजी, ताकि अमेरिकन जर्नलिस्ट तक कनाडा का पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू इंडिया से पहले पहुंचे। कोल्ड वॉर के समय कनाडा को एक डर था कि भारत वेस्टर्न देशों को छोड़कर कम्युनिस्ट रशिया की ओर झुकेगा, और ये डर आज रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर के बाद फिर से उभर कर आया है। कनाडा को लोग काफी पीसफुल देश मानते जरूर होंगे, लेकिन कनाडा ने बार बार भारत का विश्वासघात ही किया है। 1982 की बात है, जब पंजाब में खालिस्तान मूवमेंट काफी जोर पकड़ रही थी, तब भारत ने कनाडा से एक रिक्वेस्ट की, तलविंदर सिंह परमार को एक्स्ट्राडाइट करने की रिक्वेस्ट, जो कनाडा ने ठुकरा दी। क्यों? क्योंकि भारत क्वीन ऑफ इंग्लैंड को हेड ऑफ स्टेट नहीं मानता था, तो कनाडा को भारत से कोऑपरेट करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं थी। ऐसा कनाडा का लॉजिक था। कोइंसिडेंस ये है कि तब कनाडा के पीएम थे जस्टिन ट्रूडो के पिता पियर ट्रूडो, यानी भारत को दगा देना ट्रूडो खानदान के खून में ही है। इस निग्लेक्ट की वजह से आगे जाकर 1985 में कनिष्क बॉम्बिंग्स हुए, जिन्हें हमने इस वीडियो में एक्सप्लेन किया है। ये 9/11 के पहले का सबसे बड़ा एविएशन अटैक था। लेकिन जिस तरह से 9/11 की बात
I believe I reacted to this video on the channel.
होती है, उस तरह से कनिष्क बॉम्बिंग्स की बात कभी होती ही नहीं। और तो और कनाडा अपनी इन्वेस्टिगेशन पूरी भी नहीं करता। तारा सिंह हेयर की स्टोरी सुनाता हूँ। वो एक सिख कनेडियन जर्नलिस्ट थे जो खालिस्तानी एक्सट्रीमिज्म और वायलेंस के अगेंस्ट बोलते थे। उनके पंजाबी न्यूज़पेपर का उपयोग कनिष्क बॉम्बिंग्स के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल वायलेंट गैंग्स को एक्सपोज करने के लिए करते थे। इनफैक्ट वो विटनेस बनने वाले थे और अथॉरिटीज की इन्वेस्टिगेशन में मदद भी करने वाले थे। लेकिन उनके ऊपर 1988 में एक असैसिनेशन अटेम्प्ट हुआ था, विच लेफ्ट हिम पैरालाइज्ड। इससे ये साफ झलकता है कि जो भी सच वो जानते थे, वो खालिस्तानी सेपरेटिस्ट नहीं चाहते थे कि दुनिया के सामने आए। इतना सब होने के बाद भी सरप्राइजिंग बात यह है कि 1998 में जब वो अपनी गाड़ी से व्हील चेयर में शिफ्ट हो रहे थे, तब उन पर फिर से अटैक हुआ, एंड दिस टाइम इट वाज फेटल। एंड डू यू नो द वर्स्ट पार्ट? कनाडा ने कल्प्रिट्स को कभी भी पकड़ा ही नहीं। इनफैक्ट पुलिस ने इन्वेस्टिगेशन के कई पॉइंट्स कंसिडर तक नहीं किए। इस वॉर ऑफ नैरेटिव के चलते हर इंडियन की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बनती है कि हम इंडिया का पर्सपेक्टिव बार बार दुनिया तक पहुंचाए। सो इफ यू एग्री विथ मी, उस लाइक बटन पर क्लिक कर दीजिए और इस वीडियो को व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स में शेयर जरूर कीजिए। कनाडा खालिस्तान का नया घर क्यों है? सेकेंड रीजन है वोट बैंक पॉलिटिक्स। पिछले साल जब
vote bank politics.
ट्रूडो ने
You know what's wild? I keep remembering that image of Justin Trudeau in like blackface. He's like dressed up in like a stereotypical like Indian garb, and he's got blackface all on him. It's wild to me that that he wasn't like criticized or bemoaned even more for that. Yeah, this right here, like look at this. That's crazy. That's wild. And it wasn't even the first time he did blackface either. I remember reading somewhere he did blackface multiple times. And like it didn't seem to affect him at all. That's crazy. Oh yeah, right here again. He cannot say how often he wore blackface. That's wild, dude. All right, back to the video.
निज्जर के मर्डर में इंडियन गवर्नमेंट को रिस्पॉन्सिबल माना तो पहले उनकी ऑपोजिशन कंजर्वेटिव पार्टी ने उन्हें अपोज तो किया, लेकिन आगे जाकर उन्होंने भी निज्जर को और खालिस्तानी सिंपैथाइजर्स को सपोर्ट करना स्टार्ट किया। यहाँ तक ने भी ऑपोजिशन ने निज्जर के मर्डर में इंडियन गवर्नमेंट को रिस्पॉन्सिबल माना तो पहले उनकी ऑपोजिशन कंजर्वेटिव पार्टी ने उन्हें अपोज तो किया, लेकिन आगे जाकर उन्होंने भी निज्जर को और खालिस्तानी सिंपैथाइजर्स को सपोर्ट करना स्टार्ट किया। यहाँ तक इस साल दिवाली सेलिब्रेशंस भी कैंसिल।
Canada's opposition leader cancels Diwali event, sparking out. They canceled the Diwali event? I didn't know that. That's crazy. That's wild. Wow.
कर दिए थे। यानी आने वाले इलेक्शन से पहले दोनों पार्टीज जितना हो सके खालिस्तानी सिंपैथाइजर्स का सपोर्ट चाहता है। जब 2015 में ट्रूडो की सरकार चुनकर आई तो उनकी पार्लियामेंट में 18 सिख मेंबर्स थे। आगे जाकर उनके सपोर्ट को बरकरार रखने के लिए लिबरल पार्टी की सरकार ने 2017 में 1984 के एंटी सिख राइट्स को जेनोसाइड घोषित किया, लेकिन ये स्टांस कितना जेन्युइन था पता नहीं, क्योंकि लिबरल पार्टी अगर एक स्टेप अपने सिख वोटर्स को खुश करने के लिए करती है तो इमीडिएटली दूसरी स्टेप ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में उन्हें हर्ट करने के लिए ले ही लेती है। लेट मी गिव यू एन एग्जांपल। 2018 में कनाडा की खुद की मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पब्लिक सेफ्टी ने एक रिपोर्ट निकाला। इस रिपोर्ट का नाम था पब्लिक रिपोर्ट ऑन द टेररिस्ट थ्रेट टू कनाडा। यहाँ उन्होंने एक गलती की, उन्होंने सिख एक्सट्रीमिज्म को कनाडा की सिक्योरिटी के लिए थ्रेट माना। यहाँ उन्हें स्पेसिफाई करना जरूरी था कि सिख थ्रेट नहीं, खालिस्तानी थ्रेट कनाडा की सिक्योरिटी के लिए डेंजरस है, क्योंकि यही एक्सट्रीमिस्ट और सेसेशनिस्ट माइंडसेट आज कनाडा में इंस्टेबिलिटी ला रहा है, वैसे ही इंस्टेबिलिटी जो पाकिस्तान में है। कनाडा ने पूरी की पूरी सिख कम्युनिटी को विलन बना दिया। इसकी वजह से कनाडा को बड़ा बैकलैश मिला, और वो भी इतना कि उन्हें ये रिपोर्ट पीछे लेनी पड़ी, रिवाइज करनी पड़ी और नई रिपोर्ट पब्लिश करनी पड़ी। लेट मी टेल यू, यही सेम पैटर्न सिर्फ ट्रूडो की लिबरल पार्टी नहीं, कंजर्वेटिव पार्टी भी फॉलो करती है। February 2018.
Yeah, these guys are all pandering. They're all pandering to this particular group, and it's wild that they do. It's wild that they bend over so much to try to appease this group. Also, like, isn't the whole Khalistani movement even like funded by like Pakistani extremism, like extremists, like Pakistani government? I remember reading that somewhere. I don't know if that's like misinformation or fake news or disinformation or something, but I remember like specifically reading that multiple times in the past. I guess let me know down below if that's true or not. But
में कनाडा के हाउस ऑफ कॉमन्स में कंजर्वेटिव पार्टी ने एक मोशन इंट्रोड्यूस किया, जहां उन्होंने कनाडा में बढ़ते
Conservative Party in Canada drops anti-Palestinian motion. The opposition Conservative Party in Canada has decided to drop its motion in the House of Commons that many Sikh in the country feared would have effectively labeled the community as terrorists looking to divide India. I mean, they are looking to divide India. The Palestinian movement is literally trying to take land and territory from India and make it their own country. Like that, what else would it be a divide? That is like the ultimate divide. The now dumped February 27 motion was from two conservatives, yada yada. The motion that the House value of contributions of Canada's Sikhs and Canadians of Indian origin in our national life, condemned the strongest terms of forms of terrorism, including Palestinian extremism and glorification in any individuals who have committed acts of violence to advance the cause of Palestinian state in India, and stand with the United India as the community got a whiff of the proposed motion. Several Sikh organizations, including the Canadian Sikh Association, the World Sikh Organization of Canada, and the management of North America's largest Gurdwara, Ontario Khalsa Dobra, widely known as set up a aggressive night-long community movement against the conservative motion on Wednesday.
पाकिस्तानी एक्सट्रीमिज्म के बारे में बात की, साथ ही साथ उन्होंने एक यूनाइटेड इंडिया की बात की। यहाँ भी उन्होंने कनाडा के लिए सिख लोग कितने इंपॉर्टेंट है ये कहा जरूर, लेकिन यूनाइटेड इंडिया की बात करने पर उन्हें खालिस्तानी सिंपैथाइजर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से बैकलैश मिला, और फिर उन्हें हाउस ऑफ कॉमन्स में ये मोशन ड्रॉप करना पड़ा। ये दोनों इंसिडेंसेस हमें क्या समझाते हैं? कि पार्टी कोई भी हो, लिबरल या कंजर्वेटिव, एक टाइट इलेक्शन में कोई भी किसी खालिस्तानी सपोर्टर को दुखी नहीं करना चाहता।
That's
एक्सट्रीमिज्म
crazy.
को कंट्रोल करने के
They
बजाय
were they were dropping these things and bending over backward just to get their vote.
वो वोट बैंक
No
पॉलिटिक्स के लिए
backbone, man.
अपने देश की सिक्योरिटी को कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर रहे हैं। दिस इज पीक पाकिस्तान लाइक बिहेवियर, जहां सत्ता में कोई
Pakistan
भी हो,
like behavior.
कंट्रोल मिलिट्री का होता है। वैसे ही कनाडा एक ऐसा देश बनता जा रहा है जहां सत्ता में कोई भी आ जाए, कंट्रोल एक्सट्रीमिस्ट एलिमेंट्स का होगा, क्योंकि अगर
Yeah.
वो अपने
That's
खुद
what it, I
के
mean,
लोगों के लिए
that's what it feels like. That's what it looks like. That's crazy. I don't know. These political movements, these political parties, and that's the thing. Like, there's probably like to the core of it, the Conservative Party and the Liberal Party in Canada probably don't vary too much. They're probably very similar, so they're competing with like the same voter base, voter demographic, and that's why they both were bending over backwards for these Palestinian movement votes, right? When you're running like a political game, you really need to like stick to your truths, right? You gotta stick to what you say, and you gotta mean it, right? Like Trump, he came out, he said, one of the biggest things he said was anti-immigration, right? He anti-illegal immigration. I should preface that. Don't quote it out of context. He's fine. He said multiple times he's fine. Him and his cabinet said multiple times they're fine with people coming to America legally, but they're anti-illegal alien immigration, right? And he's stuck to it. Like he ran his whole campaign on, I'm going to get all the illegal aliens out of the country. I'm going to stop the illegal aliens from coming in the country, right? And while the Democrats were pushing to get more illegal aliens in, giving them quicker access to becoming citizens, and of course getting them to vote, right? Once they become a citizen, they can vote. And it's and he got elected and he stuck true to his word, right? He's not like, okay, he didn't say, I'm going to stop that. We're going to get these guys in here and we're going to get them to vote for me now. No, he said he literally put up a border czar who in many interviews has said that he would deport everybody, including their family. So it's wild. You when you're playing these games, you gotta stick to your guns, right? Anyways, I'm rambling again.
खालिस्तानी लोगों को बिहेव करने के लिए फोर्स नहीं कर सकते, तो वो अपने देश को संभाल नहीं सकते। तीसरा और आखिरी पॉइंट है फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच। कनाडा के शब्दों में फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन इज एट द कोर ऑफ ह्यूमन इंडिविजुअलिटी एंड इज वन ऑफ द एसेंशियल फाउंडेशंस ऑफ अ सेफ एंड प्रॉस्परस सोसाइटी। शुद्ध हिंदी में अभिव्यक्ति की स्वतंत्रता मानव व्यक्तित्व के मूल में है। यहाँ कनाडा मानता है कि मीडिया फ्री होना जरूरी है। इसी बेसिस पर पिछले साल जब इंदिरा गांधी जी की हत्या को सेलिब्रेट किया गया, तो कनाडा
That's crazy.
ने
Okay.
उस पर कोई इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं की, कोई कार्रवाई नहीं की, किसी को भी जेल नहीं भेजा, क्योंकि फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच है ना। लेकिन कभी
I mean, I will admit, freedom of speech is a very important thing, and freedom of expression is also very important, right? Like you shouldn't be allowed to jail somebody for saying something extreme. I am against that. Like, for example, in the UK, they've been jailing people for stuff that people have said on social media, and I'm absolutely against that. And here in the US, you have so much freedom of speech, so much freedom of expression that even like it doesn't happen very often, but you can get like the Westboro Baptist Church. They go when they do parades. You get like even like the KKK was allowed to do parades because it's the freedom of expression, freedom of speech. Now you can get counter protesters and you can get counter parades that happen, which they do. So like when the Westboro Baptist Church goes and does these parades, you get like these this big old biker gang of people that go and they make a bunch of noise to drown them out essentially, which I find pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. It gets to the point where, like, who's to decide what is someone allowed to say and what someone's not allowed to say? And it becomes a slippery slope, right? Like, once you start banning certain things and people in power get into, power, and they start banning certain things, and then their opposition gets into power and they start banning certain things, it gets into a very slippery slope where they're just constantly banning each other, to the point where, you get locked up for posting stuff on social media, right? Which is happening in a few countries in the world. So as much as I'm against this, if the country allows freedom of speech, then I don't know, man. That's brutal. But even here in the U.S., there were people that were parading around with like figures of like Donald Trump like getting beheaded and stuff. And there was even that one wild celebrity lady that was posting like video and photo of like a really real looking head of a decapitated Donald Trump, and she got fired, of course. Like, you can have freedom of expression, freedom of speech, but you don't have freedom of consequences, right? So she got fired, she got ostracized from like her career paths, but she was still allowed to say what she wanted to say, right? I don't know. Kathy Griffith, I think was her name. Let's I don't know if I won't even look it up, actually. I say that when this is on the image, but it was like a pretty brutal. It was like a very real lifelike head of Donald Trump, and it was all covered in blood and decapitated. It was weird. So it becomes a slippery slope of people in political power slowly banning out and making things illegal if you go to that route.
सेलिब्रेट किया गया तो कनाडा ने उस पर कोई इन्वेस्टिगेशन
So
नहीं
like I said, I find this abhorrent, but if the country allows a freedom of expression, freedom of speech, then I don't know. He blurred out the gun again. That's wild. Now, that said, they should feel some consequences for that, but like where are the consequences going to come from? That's the more major issue. How and where are those consequences going to come from?
कोई कार्रवाई नहीं की, किसी को भी जेल नहीं भेजा, क्योंकि फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच है ना.
Yeah, I don't think sending someone to jail for showing that, I don't think that's a jailable offense, at least from like my American point of view.
लेकिन कभी कभार ये फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच कन्वीनियंटली गायब हो जाता है. ऑस्ट्रेलिया टुडे नाम के
Australia Today slams Canada for selective blocking, says it allows another outlet peddling anti-India propaganda. Yeah. All right, this. I'm going to read this. Australian media outlet Australia Today on Monday called out the Canadian government for selective blocking of its content while not acting against another outlet that airs anti-India, pro-Khalistan propaganda. The Australian media outlet was banned in Canada hours after it carried the interview of External Affairs Minister and the press conference he addressed with the Australian counterpart Penny Wong. Okay. The Canadian Foreign Minister later denied banning Australia Today, claiming it was the Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, that blocked the sharing news content of their site. It is due to the decision by Meta to block the news on its social media platforms in Canada since 2023. The statement of Australia Today editor-in-chief responded, "We first learned that users in Canada were unable to access our Facebook." Okay. Interesting. I think these old school media outlets, they are an arm for these different political parties. That's why you should always be hesitant, and you should always try to see the biases of these different news platforms before you take them into consideration, right? That's why I like Twitter. I mean, Twitter, you can get a lot of like minute to minute, on the ground news from Twitter, from sources, and as long as you can verify it which is it's pretty easy to verify a source on Twitter if it's like a misinformation propaganda or some like parody account. Especially with their new feature with like the community notes feature where if something is fake, it'll be community noted. So yeah, it's weird that the Canadian government would block a news outlet, but it's not unheard of. I've definitely seen it before, and they're saying it's Meta, but they probably like issued something to Meta to block it.
एक न्यूज आउटलेट को बैन कर दिया गया था जब उन्होंने एस जयशंकर जी का इंटरव्यू चलाया था। ये हिपोक्रेसी ही है। ऑफ कोर्स बाद में कनाडा ने ये क्लैरिफाई किया भी कि ब्लॉक मेटा ने किया था, ना कि कनाडा की सरकार ने। लेकिन कनाडा
See, Meta came out. Meta is Facebook, by the way. Meta came out and specifically said that they were contacted by the Democratic Party, and this was back, the past like 8 years or so. They were contacted by the Democratic Party and specifically asked by the Democrats to filter and not promote, not push conservative and Republican viewpoints, which they did. And there was even like the Twitter files that came out that show that Twitter, before Elon Musk bought it, was like specifically like shadow banning and keeping like Canadian and Republican people from hitting like the main For You page of everybody. So like there is proof that these countries, these political parties do contact these social media platforms to work for them essentially. It's just wild, man. It's wild. Like this day and age, you really just have to be able to learn to go out and read and try to find out sources and go to multiple sources to try to get as much information as possible. Don't just read everything at face value. You need to be able to dig into it and find out the information better.
ने रूल्स ही कुछ इस तरह बनाए हैं कि उनका प्रोपेगेंडा चालू रहे, लेकिन दूसरे देशों का पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू सोशल मीडिया साइट्स को खुद से ही ब्लॉक करना पड़े। दिस इज प्रॉब्लमैटिक। यहाँ जयशंकर जी की बात से मैं सहमत हूँ कि फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन का मतलब सेपरेटिज्म को बढ़ावा देना नहीं होता। आज कनाडा के लिए और स्पेशली ट्रूडो के
So he said the freedom of expression
मतलब सेपरेटिज्म को
does
बढ़ावा
not
देना नहीं
mean
होता।
promoting separatism. Yeah, I would agree to that. I think there is a law in the U.S. where you have freedom of expression, freedom of speech, up to the point of where like you're making plans to secede from the union. That's when you get put down. That's when you get stopped. Like you can't succeed from the union. You can't put out propaganda that says you want to succeed from the union. That being said, there's a lot of people like over in California, Oregon, and Portland that want Cascadia, right? Like you can see that on social media. People go around and say, "Oh yeah, we want Cascadia," and Cascadia, of course, is like a country that is California, Portland, Oregon, and the British Columbia, right? Separated from the U.S. and Canada. Like these people say that they're allowed to say that they want that, but once they start putting plans into motion to get that happened, that's when like the U.S. government will step in and stop them.
कनाडा के लिए और स्पेशली ट्रूडो की सरकार के लिए फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन का मतलब सिर्फ और सिर्फ इनएक्शन हो चुका है कि जो प्रॉब्लमैटिक एलिमेंट्स हैं उन्हें अनदेखा करो, वैसे ही रहने दो सड़ने।
Yeah, and it's nowhere near like when I gave that example of like the Cascadia region, it is nothing like this Palestinian movement, which it just seems like I don't want to say like they're super violent, but like we've seen photos of them like stabbing flags and burning flags and whatnot, like. And if they're going around vandalizing like Hindu temples as well, that's kind of crazy.
दो उनसे अपने देश का नुकसान होने दो, बस सत्ता में रहना जरूरी है। ये एटीट्यूड कनाडा को अंदर से खोखला बना रहा है और अंदर से खोखले देश को खालिस्तानी मूवमेंट डिस्ट्रॉय कर सकती है, इमिग्रेशन क्राइसिस डिस्ट्रॉय कर सकता है। ड्रग्स डिस्ट्रॉय कर सकते हैं या फिर कुछ और। वीडियो की शुरुआत में मैंने कहा था कि कनाडा पाकिस्तान से बुरा बनता जा रहा है। एक्चुअली दैट इज नॉट एंटायरली ट्रू, क्योंकि कनाडा के पास नेचुरल रिसोर्सेस हैं। कनाडा एक डेवलप्ड देश है, यहाँ का पॉपुलेशन एजुकेटेड है और बहुत छोटा पॉपुलेशन है। कनाडा की अपने पड़ोसी देशों के साथ दुश्मनी नहीं है, यानी कनाडा की इकोनॉमी कभी भी पाकिस्तान जितनी बदतर नहीं हो सकती। कनाडा हैज सम ग्रेट एडवांटेजेस जिनके बारे में हमने इस वीडियो में बात की है, लेकिन फिर भी जब वीक लीडरशिप की बात होती है, वोट बैंक पॉलिटिक्स की बात होती है, एक्सट्रीमिज्म को बढ़ावा देने की बात होती है, तब कनाडा वही सेम टेंडेंसीज दिखाता है जो हमारा फ्रेंडली नेबर पाकिस्तान दिखाता है। बिकॉज जैसे पाकिस्तान के लीडर्स सिर्फ और सिर्फ इंडिया को डिस्ट्रॉय करने पर फोकस करते हैं, कनाडा भी उसी राह पर चल चुका है और इस राह पर चलते चलते अपने खुद के प्रॉब्लम्स को इग्नोर कर रहा है। दैट्स द बॉटम लाइन। अक्सर जो लोग फॉरेन देशों में रहते हैं वो सिर्फ वहां की एक साइड ही दिखाते हैं, लेकिन ये दूसरी साइड भी दुनिया तक पहुंचना इंपॉर्टेंट है ताकि हम ये समझ पाए कि कोई भी देश परफेक्ट नहीं होता। कनाडा परफेक्ट नहीं है, लेकिन कनाडा की लीडरशिप परफेक्ट होने का दावा करती है, एक ऐसा प्रॉमिस जो इतना बड़ा झूठ है कि कनेडियंस भी इससे तंग आ चुके हैं। और यही इंपॉर्टेंट बात आप तक पहुंचाने से मुझे फर्क पड़ता है।
I would agree that I think a lot of the issues that underline Canada today is in its leaders and it's in its political parties. And I'm and not even like in this like specific particular instance of bending the knee to like the Palestinian movement and being anti-India. Like in many instances, there seems to be a issue with the political power that seems to be undermining the Canadian people, right? There's a lot of Canadians that feel like their voices aren't being heard. Interesting video. Interesting video. Like I didn't know to the extent that the Palestinian movement was like so buddy with Trudeau and even like the Conservative Party. I didn't realize that that these two major like political parties there, the Liberal and Conservative Party, were both like buddy with the Palestinian movement. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, we're gonna read some comments now. Justin Trudeau, X, Dustbin Trudeau, check mark. What has been happening in different parts of the world is deeply concerning. Canada is blessed with beautiful scenic nature, but in terms of development, I feel India is much better. I was in Canada for some time as a PR holder, but many times I've experienced India to be far better than Canada. Happy to be back. Dear Abhi and Niyu, I hope this message finds you both well. I want to start expressing my admiration for the incredible work you do in addressing important global and Indian issues on your channel. Your videos are not only informative, but also inspire meaningful conversation among your audience. That said, I've noticed that some of your videos or trending topics are released a bit later than expected. In today's fast-paced world, timely updates on current issues can significantly amplify their relevance and impact. Developing content while a topic is still trending could further strengthen your connection with the audience and enhance the value of your platform provides. Thank you for your dedication in spreading awareness and positivity. Looking forward to seeing more of your amazing work. Now, I would agree to this, that getting out information quickly is important, but also on that note, making sure that the information that you're getting out is true and factual is equally, if not more important. And I think they have a platform where they can take a little bit of extra time. And so instead of putting out like a 3, 5, 10-minute video, they can take a little bit extra time and put out something a little bit longer and maintain that factual accuracy, right? Chat GPT, yeah. I mean, it felt very Chat GPT-ish, but people use Chat GPT a lot. People use AI a lot. Save Indiana minorities. Indiana. I know he means Indian, but that's funny he said Indiana. What happened in Indiana? Historical incidents. Oh yeah, okay. So there's a list of all that. I think I've gone over this in another video. So Canada is cooked. Who came here after Oh, I don't know. I don't think I've seen that video. Many politicians doing same in India. Yes, you're absolutely right. A video is going viral on Bangladesh too, but not much reaction being seen in India. You are just great. May you bring more such realities. Your content and your balance of way of presenting is marvelous. We need to bring international Hindu organizations, medical organizations, political and financial organizations, and must have funds and ownership in multiple countries. We must use the same strategies as our enemies. Ad fees able. We must also run multiple NGOs that are pro-Hindu. Interesting. Save Hindu and Bangladesh Hindus. Oh yeah, there's a lot of issues going on in Bangladesh against Hindus there as well. I'm a Hindu living in Canada. Everything is absolutely fine and okay. It's just 20 to 30 people doing mischief in a small area. None of that is affecting our daily lives. So here is a perspective from someone claiming to be there, saying that things are actually okay. Your information is incomplete. Canada has become a hub not only for Khalistanis, but also for Palestine, Islamist, extremists, and many more. I know there's like the Islamist extremism is a big thing there as well. Nice topic. That was a major concern to discuss. That feels like a bot. Thanks, bro, for the information. Finally, no ad show. We are talking about Smiling Buddha. What are you talking about, Smiling Buddha? Like the nuclear experiment? According to Dala and Dala, Canada is becoming Pakistan. Bangladesh is becoming Pakistan. India is becoming Vishwaguru? Well, I don't know what that is. Say what? No doubt in that. Bangladesh is becoming Pakistan. The killings of Hindus is the same thing that happens in Pakistan. Canada is becoming Khalistan, not Pakistan. Pakistan. Okay. I can't translate this. Okay. Why do these people never talk about Muslims are facing the same problem here? Told everyone that there will be no support for the WAQF board. Galat, things should be accepted in the first place. In previous video, they literally told India is becoming Vishwaguru in pollution. I don't know what this word is. I don't know what this term is. Vishwaguru. Save Hindu temples. Why only Hindus? Because we are the peaceful ones. Because you Hindus are so peaceful. Tells your mindset. No need for me to even argue. For a wise man has said that arguing with fools is a waste of time. When you get the taste of your own medicine, well done, Canada. The sad part is the local police is filed with the Khalistanis people supporters. These guys are legit having their protests outside of temples and then enter temples to hit our kids and elders. The police is in there arresting if the devotees are trying to protect them and taking side of the Khalistinians as they support them and then taking the devotees to jail. This is the real sad and lowest level of politics. Khalistani say that we are protesting peaceful outside of Hindu temples. Why the fuck do you want to protest outside of Hindu temples? There are videos showing Khalistani flag people beating Hindu devotees and sadly the ground reality. As a Pakistani, we do not burn temples in our country, but we respect our Hindu brothers. Hey, brother, then the population of temples of Hindus is increasing in Pakistan. What? Hold on. I thought Pakistan was like a very, like, from the top down, like a very Muslim country, right? Like, don't they want their whole population to be Muslim? Are there Hindus in Pakistan? Hey, brother, then the population of, brother, you have spoken respectfully. I respect that, but the temples here are there today. I saw the news a few months ago that say such old Hindu temples will be destroyed in Pakistan. What is the Muslim or the Hindu population in Pakistan? As of 2023, Hinduism is the second largest religion in Pakistan with approximately 5.2 million Hindus, or 2.17% of the population. 2% of the population. And it's the second largest religion and it's 2% of the population. I mean, come on, right? Like, that's wild. That's crazy. What mic do you guys use in this? Audio quality increased. Did they show the mic off at all in the video? Probably not, right? It's probably off to the side. Oh no, they do show it down here. This little tiny mic right here. I don't know what that is. I have a mic. I have this Samson here. I don't know if moving it around like that is a good idea, but well, I guess I'll see, right? I guess we can look at some of the newer comments, see if there's anything in here. Sadly, thousands of fools line up every day outside Canada in a Canadian embassy for visas. What about Sampal violence, hypocrisy? I don't know what that is. What about Indians where Hindu are vote bank for BJP? Okay. I mean, that's India. This video is about Canada. Okay. Please make a video on Bangladeshi Hindus. Canada has its own issues, but not everything about Canada or her people are bad. Well, here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing. I have to preface this many times. You can hate a government, but still like its people, right? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people in India that hate the U.S. government, but you should not hate the U.S. people, the Americans, just because you hate the U.S. government, right? Like, we're not connected to our government. Sure, we vote for our government to come into power, but like, we don't have complete and utter control over the government. So it's like, for me, right? I hate the CCP. I hate the Chinese Communist Party with a burning passion, but I do not hate Chinese people. I like Chinese people. I like Chinese culture. I hate the Chinese government party, right? You can hate a government. You can hate like the concept of a government, but still like the people. And I think that's what you got to realize. You got to sit down and you got to rationalize that, right? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. What Indian government is doing in the century-old mosques here, what right do we have to cry over safety of temples abroad when the government approves to find shivalings in temples below every other mosque? Stop the hypocrisy and question yourself. Kindly make a video of this. Well, okay, so here's the thing with this. Like, I've read into this a couple times, right? They're going through and they're restoring Hindu temples that were destroyed or partially destroyed to put up Muslim mosques, Islamist mosques, right? So when like the Mughals came through, or was it the Mongols? Mongols? Too many M's. But when the Islamists, the Muslim majority came through, they destroyed a bunch of Hindu temples, and this was, hundreds of years ago, right? They either destroyed a bunch of Hindu temples, or they, replaced parts of them and built up these, these Muslim temples. What's going on right now is they're just going through and they're just restoring them to their original states, right? So I don't know. It's touchy on that. Like, if there's like you gotta break it down, like the significance of the site. What is more important, right? Like bringing it back to its original traditional state, or keeping it as it is. In both instances, they could be, the Muslim temple could be, like 200 years old, 300 years old, whilst the Hindu temple that was standing there could have been even older. I don't know. That is a touchy subject as well. Okay, vote bank politics is harmful for a nation. What is on the left hand side of the visual in 1226? The one with the dead body. What in the world? There's no dead body. I forget what these are. There's some sort of like oxygen thing, but I don't know. I can't quite remember what they're for. Maybe they're like helium? No, I don't remember. I don't remember what these are for. I'm sorry. Save Muslims and minorities in India. Save tribals in India. Canada rock, India shocked. First speak about a Bangladesh Hindu. Are you sleeping? Please call Sanatan board. Don't mislead people first. Get some information and involve Pakistan. Have they not talked about the Bangladeshi Hindu situation? Because even I've talked about that many times. Like, I've only done one video on it, but even I've talked about it several times. Delhi is dying. Secret. Get out India. There's another previous Canadian video here. Biggest hero of India. Real fight. Israel's big trouble. India officers are stupid. Prime Minister Modi needs to take Bangladesh seriously. Here's why. So here's a Bangladesh thing. Was there not another? It's actually interesting that they haven't talked about it. Why not? I'm sure they talked about it in this instance because this was a big instance around that time. Bangladeshi crisis, warning Prime Minister Modi. So yeah, they haven't really touched upon it. That's actually rather interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, the link to the video that we just watched is going to be in the description down below. If you have any recommendations for any videos to react to, let me know. I'll add them to the list. As you saw at the beginning of the video, my list is rather large, but I'm willing to take in more. It doesn't even need to necessarily be about India. It can be about any country, any subject, honestly. I'll react to pretty much anything. If it interests me, of course, that is. So I like cultural stuff. I like history stuff. I like map stuff. I like countries like India, Japan, Korea. Like unusual facts about other countries. I really enjoy that. I like gaming stuff. Like if there's anything about gaming, I enjoy gaming. I like stuff about, I don't know, paranormal, cryptid stuff like that. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Take care, everyone. I can't talk anymore. I hope you have a good one. Yeah. Take care. Goodbye.